Hello and welcome to another tale pulled off the shelves at the heart of the Jakuls. As always, I'm your industrious host, Lothran, and there's ever so much more to relay, so let's snap to it. Oh, and before I forget, I'm telling this tale for Korvoth, and unfortunately, despite our shared efforts, the start of this tale has been lost to the ravages of time and space. So we're starting it a little bit ahead of how some might tell it. I happen to like it this way, but Korvoth has other ideas. But this is what we must do. So go fetch a filling meal, settle into a cozy chair, and pay precise attention to Thum, Part 5, A Somber Return. So, that went as bad as I could ever have thought it would. Thum shut the door to his private cab after Darth climbed the stairs up and out of the noise of the streets. The boy looked more than a little grim as the pair of runners hefted the harness and began pulling them through the noise-drenched streets in the relative calm of the cab. Yeah, Darth commented as he picked up the ledgers and started putting them aside to keep them from Thum's sour mood. No. Go through what we've got and what we lost to Burl and his, machinations sounds too grandiose. He's just more experienced at bribing his way to the top. All that money spent while I was away for nothing. Thum adjusted the mask over his Ollie features that he vainly kept hidden away, pulling the dark green and gold trimmed hood over his sight plates, absent-mindedly as he waited for Darth to begin. Okay, so Burl got us evicted from the breweries and the food depots. Cease and desist on suspicion of toxic ingredients, the Galvan seeds. We could make some investments back on the sale of the properties, but we'll have to scrub each of them, do an inspection, and then wait for the council to do their own private inspection, and that could take it, months at least. It's okay. So that's a loss, and I have to pay rent for it. Keep going. Thum slouched and twisted to lean back against his comfy, if bouncy seat all around him. Burl also got the council to recognize the runner business as a monopoly. You keep part of it, but only the original 15 carts. No doubt Burl will be the one to get to choose which carts I keep. That's fine, the carts always make money. You've also been banned from the Ollie district's best profit margins for operating the carts. Thum attempted to whistle, but made a poor job of it. He'd never been very good at it. He put a mark down. I want to figure out a way to build enclosed cabs or something like them for all the other markets. Yes, sir. Marking now. Done. Okay. Pearl won all the mining contracts again this year. 43rd year in a row. Money that would have been better spent burning to heat homes. Thumb practically snarled at the even million silvers he lost into that particular dumpster fire. Next, forget about the miners. No, wait. Did the council restrict the comfort stalls near the entrance to the mines? Darth shifted through his notes around as he looked for the right notebook. One sec, just let me, this is the one. Here, yeah, okay, yes. And no, okay, it's a little complicated. The entrance to the mines remains restricted, but stalls in both the manufacturing district and the slums are now open to anyone. But of course, Darth just trailed off. Of course, those are the two most dangerous districts in the city. Wait. The main brewery is right next to the manufacturing district. After Burl betrayed all the gangs after using them to win the last election. What are you suggesting, sir? Well, we can't use the building anyway. You're not suggesting we ask the gangs to pay us rent? No, of course not. We don't want to pay them rent, we want to trade. Set up a meeting with the current man in charge. He'll get a secure place to run his operations, rent-free, so Burl can't charge us for anything if he finds out. And we'll show the guy the sewer entrance, so no one is even seen entering or leaving. And in return, we ask for cheaper protection in those two districts. I bet the fucker will jump at the chance for us to pay and house him, while Burl thinks he's wiping the whole lot of the old gangs out of existence, and no paper trail to us. Okay, got that. Yep, marked it right here. Okay, we can move on. Darth jotted down his notes. Next, we have to move the shipments of Galvan seeds outside of the city as they've been labeled toxic material. That reminds me. Thum twisted around, flicking up the flap to the two runners hauling the cart through the bustling, throng-filled city streets. Take us to 3rd and Wesson. You got it, boss. One of the two whipped his head around as both men turned down a narrower, but still fully foot traffic burdened street. Sorry, but I have an idea about that. You mind if I think out loud? Darth switched notebooks in a hurry, grabbing a fresh pen from his bag, nodding for Thum to vent his often ingenious thoughts. Okay, so there was a huge market for Galvan seeds, based on records that the ancients grew the plants more than any other crop. I bought up the entire market. Most of my funds are tied into that right now. But Burl got out of that side market and dived headfirst into government with the Ollies. Thum expelled a bit of hot air. He did that by showing how the Galvan seed not only had no nutritional value, but they burn, and not just with a yellow-orange flame, but with a bright blue one. Very effective marketing strategy. Thanks for making plays in my name to keep the roofs over as many heads as possible while I was away on family business, Darth. No problem, sir. Do you mind if I ask how all that went? A little, but it's not really a thing anymore. My wife and son, they died in the collapse in the other city. Not much more to say. Even Thum, despite what he'd come to terms with, had difficulty letting the words flow out of his mouth. I'm so sorry, sir. Moving on, Thum brushed the topic off of the table. The miners, especially the coal ones, are always complaining about how dark it is, how the glow moss doesn't grow in the coal tunnels properly. So what we do is develop some sort of container to hold the seeds, or whatever it is that makes them burn so well, and sell those to the miners and anyone else we can get to buy the product. 3rd and Wesson, boss, one of the runners called as they came to a stop. Thum once more flicked open the privacy flap. Take us around the back. I want to finish up this conversation first. He handed the pair of them 2 silver each, way above normal pay for their sort of work. The 2 men pocketed their pay, both very grateful as they walked the cart around the ancient 4-story tavern. You moved part of your operation out of the city to the roadway that Burl tricked us into buying pretty much all of, correct, Darth? Yes, sir. I wanted to teach a few kids how to keep track of some of the smaller ledgers, and the council wouldn't let me purchase a teaching license. So I moved the whole thing out past the farmer's gate, and it's been a little hectic at times, but I accomplished what I set out to do. I take it you want me to begin moving things back into the city, sir? No! Fuck no! I want you to start moving everything out there. Set up an estimate after we eat, how long, what cost, materials, contracts, all the nitty-gritty I pay you for. Then get it done. Sir? Darth asked, not sure what was happening right now. He'd been certain that Thum would have chewed him out for doing such a weak thing while his boss had been seeing to his family and those affairs. You made some money on that little operation, correct? Darth nodded, but kept himself silent. How much? Well, at first, I took it as a loss, teaching a few kids on the side and hiring some old teachers to get them up to speed on their numbers. After a bit, some miner and blacksmith fathers Wanted me to teach their kids numbers and letters. Darth sounded more and more perturbed as he went on. I've managed to run a decent profit ever since, not that much. Nothing like the breweries or the food depots before Burl shut them all down, but enough to keep everything afloat without going into debt. You made 50,000 silver a month, and it's no big deal to you. What? It can't be that much, sir. I've been tired and I must have copied the numbers wrong. Darth tried to come up with a logical excuse. No, it's 51,000 silver each month. I checked when I realized how much shit Burl whipped up into our faces. I had to see what miracles any of my employees pulled out of their asses. You make more money out of one rather large and incredibly well-constructed school, if a bit haphazard in its outer presentation, than any single of my previous businesses ever did before. That's why I'm putting you in charge of the move. We're going to set up schools and businesses along all 4 of the roads leading out of the dome. Sir, we're not making that much. Calm down. The school itself would be making much less than that. Give me the school ledger. Darth hesitated before reluctantly fishing out the proper book. Yeah, just what I thought. Here, you see that? Thum handed the book back to his accountant, the one he'd found begging for scraps and stealing to survive only a few years back. This is the typical beef list. The bribes and write-offs, a beef list. The ones you don't actually have to pay outside the city, because no one from inside the city gives any kind of a rancid fuck about business done outside of the city. That's how you're making a king's fortune each month. You're the first trader in 10,000 years that doesn't have to bribe anybody. But sir, Darth froze up, not able to fully comprehend the magnitude of what was happening. No, you listen. Burl can have the whole rotten to the core city. Keep it. Do whatever you want with it. I don't give a shit. Why would we give even a mountain of wet shits? We're officially emperors from this point forward. But what about the winters? The dome protects from the horrendous temperatures in the winters. You're not getting it. We have the greatest invention in all of recorded history on our sides. A landscape free from bureaucrats. Thum grabbed Darth by his shoulders, exuberantly, practically gushing through Thum's mask. We'll figure it out no matter the cost. We have the entire market on seeds that burn for a minute apiece, for fuck's sakes. Are you trying to tell me that with near endless piles of Galvan seeds, free reign over whatever we want to do, and more money than sense, we can't pay 1,000 men to figure the damn thing out for us? Is that what you're trying to say? Well, we could set our own tax rates maybe. That would, increase profits around the board. Darth began with a moderate amount of hope. No! Thum grew cold and forceful in an instant. I'm sick of bribes and corruption. I'm sick and tired of taxes and licenses, of fees and inspectors. We own the land. Remember, you have a 20% stock in the deal. We make the rules. And I'm betting there's a veritable flood of impoverished and fed-up citizens in this city, just as ready to vomit forth their indignation as I am, right toward all the copper-pinching, mewling, sad little worker drones collecting their fees and marking their angry, snide little boxes. First things first. We eat like kings, a real belly-burster. Then we rid ourselves of this horrid nonsense, once and for all. And so it is. Our time together has once more come to its end. I hope each of you enjoyed it as much as I did the telling of it. As always, I've been your productive host, Lothran, and this has been Thum Part 5. A somber return. Another tale pulled right from the most precious shelves at the heart of the Jakuls. Now we must once more part our ways. Korvoth, guide them back to the safety they know all too well.
Yes, sir, Lothran. a pleasant greeting, and a fond farewell to each and all. Please leave all your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. None of that awful, rude, or mean stuff, though. You keep that to yourself. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us learn, spread, and grow. Don't forget, we strongly encourage each and every one of you to do your utmost to stay safe out there. Good night and good luck. You'll need it.